manifestors, it's Tarkan back with another video. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to start this one off with a comment from a viewer, Paula Rizzo. Hello, Paula. Who says, I come from a family where I only learned about life's difficulties, lackness, and feeling needy. I have low self-esteem problems and I feel sad most of the time. I was being very needy towards my special person, and the only thing I managed was to push him away. We message each other from time to time, but everything has changed since then. I was going to ask you, if I put my attention on myself, will I be able to reverse that situation and direct it towards the reality that I wish to manifest with him? But near the end of the video, this is in response to, I think, the last video that I did, how can I make, a different one, how can I make my specific person miss me? But near the end of the video, you said that we can do anything. So I'll take that as a yes. Good, yeah, it is a yes, actually. It's a resounding yes. I'm tired of having this mindset of lack and need. I'll start working on myself and I'll be able to manifest the reality that I want with him. So absolutely, it's a yes, Paula. But let me explain a little bit more about, just briefly about what really leads to this kind of thinking. Now, of course, anytime that you have these kinds of feelings of lack that you talk about, these difficulties, there's a belief system behind that. There's a limiting belief behind that. Now, it doesn't matter whether you created the belief for yourself, because we do that very often. And I've mentioned this in other videos. Often, a belief is nothing more than a practiced thought, all right? It's just a thing that you think over and over and over again until your mind accepts it as being truth, and then you have a belief, right? Now, any kind of belief we adopt in life, usually at the time that we adopt it, there is some kind of underlying reason for it. We tend to do this very subconsciously, but there's some part of us that thinks there's a benefit to holding a certain kind of belief. As an example, if you believe that you're unloved and you're never good in relationships, or relationships never work out for you, you might adopt that as a belief because in a weird way, in a subconscious way, you think that that's going to protect you from being hurt and being disappointed. So very often a person who holds that kind of a belief, relationships don't work out for me, doesn't even try when it comes to relationships, doesn't take the chances, doesn't take the risk, because they're preserving themselves. And that belief at that point serves them very well in terms of self-preservation. But of course, at some point, you're going to change. You're going to grow as a person. You might even become stronger. You might even work out more, work on yourself more, feel more confident, but you still have this issue of relationships not working out because you're still hanging on to this limiting belief, which once served you, but no longer does. So it's either beliefs that we create for ourselves, or it's beliefs that are sort of handed to us. As in your case, Paula, where you say that your family, was very much about lack and feeling needy, probably, I'm guessing, in a financial sense. At some point, the members of your family were served by this, or somebody generations back was served by this belief, but these beliefs get handed down from generation to generation. And so you find yourself with this belief that you've adopted, or that's been sort of foisted upon you, not understanding that it's there, not understanding that it's actually limiting you in life. Now, it's not the fault of your family or whoever started the chain of this belief. At some point, they had good intentions. They usually do, right? I often heard as a kid, it's better to not think positively so that you don't feel disappointed in life, right? So that you save yourself from disappointment. So go ahead and expect the worst outcome, because then you won't raise your expectations, and then your hopes won't be dashed so terribly when things don't work out for you. So, somebody down the line decided that this was a good way to do things, because they didn't understand about manifesting. They didn't understand about law of attraction. They didn't understand about their personal power. It's not their fault. But of course, I ended up adopting that belief in my life, which limited me in many, many different ways, right? So that's the thing about belief systems and beliefs, that most of us and most of you out there are functioning with very limiting beliefs that you have going on in your head. And I always say this, that once you identify that belief, you can then begin to practice a new belief or the opposite of that belief until you adopt that as being truth, until your mind soaks that up and says, oh, it is true. Things do work out for me. I am a powerful creator. I can create whatever reality that I want, right? So it's like overriding the old belief with the new, more positive belief, more empowering belief. Because it's just a habit of thought. That's all a belief is. And to break a bad habit, you simply introduce a better habit into the equation. You start practicing that. Now that'll be difficult at first because your mind's going to struggle to accept that as truth. But there's no real objective truth. So therefore, whatever you decide is true, whatever meaning you assign to things, events and circumstances in your life will become true for you at some point. The more you practice that truth or that version of reality. Now, the thing about it is, how do we identify these limiting beliefs? And I want to give you a very, very basic little method. And it's super simple. It's not complicated. Like most of these things are not complicated. Most of this is not complicated, even though it's going to be difficult at first for you to practice a new belief, a new empowering belief to supersede or to sort of install on top of the old limiting belief. Doesn't mean that the old limiting belief is going to go away completely, but it will no longer really dominate for you. And it'll be difficult to do that at first, but if you keep it up and if you really, really get behind it and practice it, after a while, your mind will adapt the new positive belief much more easily, okay? So that the old one becomes sort of dormant, yeah? So let me just tell you this. It's very simple. And this is a method used by 𝗙liche. If you're not familiar with 𝗙liche, this is a being that is channeled by Darryl Anka. Just go on YouTube and look up 𝗙liche, B-A-S-H-A-R. Very, very interesting stuff once you can get past the sort of, the channeling aspect of it, which I have no problem doing at all because I believe that. But there's some very, very great stuff from that you can learn from 𝗙liche. And here, let me just read you something very briefly that sums beliefs and feelings up very well. So your external physical reality, like I always say, is a feedback loop. All right. So to let you know what your beliefs are. In other words, whatever you're experiencing in life, you can tell from the kind of experiences you're having. Are they negative? Are they positive experiences? Are they desired or undesired experiences or circumstances? Will tell you what you've got going on in terms of what you're believing about yourself and what you're believing about the world and what you're believing about reality or the specific topic or subject that you're dealing with. So this way, if your external reality is not what you prefer, you can change your beliefs in order to change your external reality. So the feedback loop is that it starts with your belief, which leads to your perception of reality, which leads to your feelings about what you're perceiving, which leads to your thoughts, which then reinforce the original beliefs, right? So your feelings are the result of your beliefs. Your emotional reactions are the result of what you believe. So very simple, guys, and this is going to be really short, okay? But it's extremely powerful and helpful, okay? So to discover what your beliefs are, you simply work backwards, all right? You work backwards from what you're perceiving out there, what your reality is, what you're getting back from your feedback loop, what you're getting back from the physical reality mirror, okay? Which is all that 3D reality is. It's just a mirror reflecting back to you what your limiting beliefs are, or just in general what your beliefs are. If you're having a great time in life, then you've got good belief systems going on, belief systems that serve you, okay? And if you're not having such a great time in life, well, then guess what? You've got some limiting beliefs going on. So a very simple thing to do is to ask yourself these questions, 2 questions, and that's it. The first one is, what would I have to believe in order to end up feeling this way, feeling the way that you're feeling? If you're feeling very low all the time, if you're feeling very needy all the time, if you're feeling very obsessed all the time, stop for a moment and ask yourself the question, what would I have to believe in order to feel this way? So you're kind of reverse engineering the process, all right? You're recognizing that you've got some bad feelings going on about a specific topic, okay? Let's say your specific person. They don't love me, I haven't heard from them, I've ruined everything, they're with somebody else, which may or may not be true, but you are believing that it's true, okay? What would you have to believe in order to feel this way? One of the answers might be that you're not good enough unless somebody validates you. Somebody decides to tell you that you're good enough. Only then can you feel like you're worthy and good enough. All right. Another thing can be, you might have a belief going on that says, I'm a phony, right? And eventually somebody discovers that I'm a phony, and then they won't love me or want me anymore. Another thing that you might believe is just simply things don't work out for me. I'm just an unlucky person. Okay. Whatever it is you're feeling about a thing. All right. If you're worried that your specific person is with somebody else, then you've got a belief going on that you're not good enough. For instance, that's a very simple belief, and it seems obvious, but it's so easy to not be aware of these things for people out there. And once you kind of get down to the level of, you reverse engineer the whole thing and you get down to what the core belief is. And again, I can't really tell you what it is, but you need to do this work. All right. So you need to ask yourself this question and really think about it. What would I have to believe in order to be feeling this way? All right. And the second question is, what would I have to believe in order to end up perceiving this type of physical reality? So it comes down to how you're feeling, and it comes down to what you're perceiving around you, what's going on in your life. And when you look at, if you really want to know how you're doing in general, just look at the results you're getting. All right. That tells you what your primary internal state of being is that you have going on most of the time. And I hear this a lot where people go, well, I'm happy. I was happy for 10 minutes today, and I did this, and I visualized that, and I was really happy. Why are things not working out? Well, you're still getting that thing, which means most of your waking hours, you still have this limiting belief going on. Okay. That's running in the background. So what would I have to believe in order to end up feeling this way? If you're feeling very negatively, worried, feeling a lot of lack, and what would I have to believe in order to end up perceiving this kind of physical reality? All right. So if you're struggling with money, and you see that, you might be the person that gets money very easily, but doesn't hold on to it very easily. Somehow it always seems to slip through your fingers, or you're always chasing money. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You don't ever seem to find a way to to have a surplus so that you can relax a little bit. You've got some limiting beliefs about money going on. So you have to ask yourself, if I'm getting these results about money, then what is it that I would have to believe about money in order to get these results reflected back to me, right? So when you change your beliefs, because once you identify what that is, then it becomes very simple to change it, to drop it, and to introduce the opposite belief on top of it, okay? So when you change your beliefs about any particular reality or issue, you instantly also change how you feel about that particular reality or issue. This is why the interpretation or the belief you give any situation determines how you feel about it. All right. So it's very simple. So you ask yourself these two questions. All right. What would I have to believe in order to end up feeling this way that I'm feeling about this topic, or just in general, even if it's not about a specific topic, you're having a general kind of blah life. What would I have to believe in order to feel this way about my life and about myself? And what would I have to believe in order to end up perceiving this kind of reality, to end up seeing this reflection coming back to me from my physical reality? What beliefs would I have to carry in order for this to be true, that I'm perceiving and that I'm feeling on the inside? And when you do it this way, actually, you'll find that you whittle it down to the core. You peel away those onion layers, and you get to the core of what it is that you're believing, what that limiting belief is. And sometimes you'll see that it's maybe one or two limiting beliefs that kind of color every experience in your life, that kind of spill over into every area or every topic or subject in your life. And you'll be able to identify that, and you'll be able to drop it, and you'll be able to first what happens is that your mind kind of looks at that belief once it identifies it, and it sees it for being as ridiculous as it is. Okay. Things never work out for me. Is that actually true? All right. That would be like the next thing that you would ask yourself, that I'm adding to the equation. Once you identify that belief, ask yourself, would it necessarily be true? I'm completely unlovable. Things don't work out for me. I'm the unluckiest person in the world. Is that necessarily true? Your logical mind is going to go, no, of course not. Because you're going to think of 1,000 examples in your life where things did work out for you. Okay. 1,000 examples in your life where you did feel loved, and where you do feel loved on a daily basis. For example, if that happens to be your limiting belief. So that's an easy way to kind of, first of all, get your mind to go, well, that's ridiculous. All right. That doesn't make any actual sense. And then what would I have to believe in order to change this thing around? What would I have to believe in order to feel better about this situation? And then you identify, once you identify the limiting belief, you identify and create the belief that's going to empower you. And then that's the belief that you practice. And this is where affirmations come in, guys. All right. This is why we do affirmations. But the thing is that we tend to do them very blindly, and we tend to do them for the wrong reasons. First, we do them because we think they're going to get us something. All right. And we think the tool is the thing that's going to get us the thing. No, it's actually identifying the limiting belief, dropping it, and then introducing the opposite belief of it, which is the more empowering belief. That's how you do it. And that's when affirmations can work. But you don't want to be doing them all day, because this is what people do. And I say this again and again and again and again. You're going to sit around, you've got people like posting Post-it notes all over their apartment with the thing they want to chant, because they think it's like a magic incantation that's going to get them the thing that they want in their lives. All that's going to get you get you better results in life is changing your core beliefs from limiting into something more empowering. All right. So this is an excellent method and way to do that. All right. So thank you, Paula, for your comment. I hope this has helped you guys. If you have any questions or comments about this, or let me know how it works for you in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe now, hit that bell notification button, leave a comment, like the video, and share it with anyone you think might benefit from it. Also, if you want some coaching with me, there's a link for that down below in the description box. There's also a way for you to leave me a tip for this video if you find this content valuable and you appreciate what I do and you like the cut of my jib. All right, guys. So that's it for me today. I'm 𝗙Con. I love you. Happy manifesting out there. And until next time, bye-bye.